Well, before I start, I actually have a question for everyone. Well, I want to see hands up. I actually want to see phones up. How many of you have your mobile phone with you tonight? You're pretty representative of what I would have expected. About 95% of the UK population have a mobile phone. That's been roughly the case since about 2015. Now, how many of you have Apple phones? Hold those up, okay? Well, you make up about 44 to 49% of the UK population. And what about Samsung? There's a good few of those as well, yeah? Well, that's around about 22% of the population. So a lot of my talk, although obviously our focus is resilience, is actually about this device, a mobile phone. How it's going to influence everything when it comes to resilience itself. Oh, missed a slide, last slide. Professor Peter Clough and Doug Shikarczyk defined the concept of mental toughness. So he would term that as resilience plus, and that has four main components, which I'm going to cover right at the top. Confidence. How confident are you in your own ability? How confident are you when it comes to interpersonal relationships? And how confident are you in your life in general? How in control of your life are you? So the idea that you lead a life that you're in charge of, that you take ownership of, and that other people aren't pushing you around. How in control of your life really are you? How open to challenge are you? Those opportunities, how often do you take them? How often are you open to them? Do you go ahead and go for that big idea? And lastly, how committed to a concept are you when you take it forward? Do you keep going, or do you give up easily? These are the four mainstays of what mental toughness really is. Now, I am going to sort of do something that sounds a bit silly here. So reading to the bin, it's quite simple. So I have £2,000 here, and I am just going to chuck that in the bin. Now, the reason for doing this is to try and make you aware of the idea of, well, if I chuck this money in the bin, most people worship money. They see it as something highly valuable, very important to their lives. And actually, it's something that is essential to the way people see the world. But what I'm going to argue is that data is actually much more essential. It defines who you really are. It defines your human essence. It defines everything that's inside you. And yet, you're chucking that away every single day. So what is data used for when it's thrown away? You may not be considering that as you use your device. Some people, I'm sure, are posting away on Instagram and all sorts. The truth is, you're probably not thinking about what it's going to be used for when you put it out there. First of all, it identifies information about you. Knowledge from your hair color, your eye color, who you are, your contact information. Every single element of you can be defined. We take enough of that data, and we look at it across populations, we can start to measure it. We can start to really understand demographics and understand people as a whole, understand what they do, how they exist. That generates insight. How do we actually see things beyond what those individuals really imagine about who they are, what they do each day, what it is that they do just in every part of their life. It can influence you. We're already seeing the start of this. Today, you've been influenced by an advert. You talk, and the phone hears you, and you see that advert that you were just mentioned. At another level, you maybe simply use Google. You do a search, and again, you're influenced by what comes up on the other side. These things really do influence you. But the next stage is control. Imagine a world where every single thing that you do, from how you get up in the morning, where you study, what work you do, who you meet, is controlled by the data that you have given out. Something that's much more intelligent and capable than you of understanding the information you've sent out is actually controlling your every action. Pretty scary stuff, hence the cautionary sign at the start. Now back in 2007, since I suppose having a computer since about 1991, I wrote the book Creating God. I believe that whether you're religious or not, and I'm sure many of you are, and again, many of you are probably not, God will exist. You will be controlled. You will essentially do as you're bid. Rich, poor, smart, not so smart, doesn't matter. You're going to basically be under the control of our hyper-intelligence, the gods of data. So I've listed some of these on the stage here. I'm going to start explaining a bit of background why I call these data gods. So Amazon, which you may not see behind the bin, these guys we buy things off every day, and they've created a lovely little device, which I'll talk to you later, Alexa. They started off, I'm going to say, as demigods. They sold you stuff. Now they collect your information.
Sorry, I don't know that.
That's fine, Alexa. Then we look at Apple. Again, we buy a phone. It's £1,000, whatever you buy the latest iPhone. But why are they selling it to you? They're gaining so much information in you, understanding, insight into what you do. Everything you type in that phone is being sent to a company. Samsung, exactly the same business model. Again, data is what is core here. Selling you the next phone is more important than selling you this current one. You're a lifetime customer. Going beyond that, the likes of Microsoft, we use Office, we use business products, but Microsoft supply these sorts of insights to other companies that can utilize them. Again, we pay for services, but actually data becomes more important. Google, probably one of the companies born a god. Of these companies, the first three at the top of the screen are actually trillion-dollar companies. 3 out of the 5 biggest companies in the world, the economic elite, are trillion-dollar companies. Microsoft, Alphabet, Google, and Apple. Soon to join them, I'd argue, is Amazon, at over 900 billion in valuation, and that's probably mainly down to this little thing. Very, very important to understand that data is the new currency, far more important than money ever was. What about Facebook? Well, they again were born digital. They're taking your social data and you're giving it to them. You're giving it to them every day. Completely fascinating business model. IBM, Alibaba, I'm going to argue, sometimes me too, but trying to get on the ladder, so to speak. They're still very important because these guys want your data. So what is data itself, and how is it being created? 90% of the data in this world have been created in the last 2 years. Pretty crazy. Actually, 66%, 4.9 billion people are sharing their data via the internet. Fascinating that 66% of this entire world has already done that. 2.7 zettabytes existed in 2019. Now what is a zettabyte? Some people may know, some may not. So a zettabyte is 1,000 exabytes, which is 1,000 petabytes, which is 1,000 terabytes, which is 1,000 gigabytes, which is 1,000 megabytes. I'll not go any further. But essentially this is an awful lot of data, 90% of which created in the last 2 years. Actually, therefore, look at the next year, what's going to happen now with IoT and other data capture methods. In 2020, it's expected that every individual will create 1.5 megabytes of data every single second. This is changing everything. You're giving away information at an absolutely transformational rate, and you probably aren't even considering it. And the truth is, you struggle to stop. Data centers actually create as much CO2 in the world, roughly 915 million tons, as the airline industry. Again, probably didn't know that. 3 or so percent of the world's electricity production is basically used in the part of data centers. And actually, scary thing for me, because what's coming next, the next slide, is that only 0.5% of that data is currently in use. That data is actually being stored, ready for the next revolution. What is that revolution? Well, by 2014, this single device will be as intelligent as I am. 4 years away. By 2050, this single device and every consumer device that you hold in your hand will be as intelligent as every single human being on the planet combined. Over 7 billion people. By 2070, This world has completely changed. We can't even imagine what that God looks like. It is so much more powerful and intelligent than every one of us put together. Pretty crazy stuff. So in 2019, an amazing man, James Lovelock, you may know from the Gaia hypothesis, wrote the book The Novacene. He says that the age of man or woman is already over. That the hyper-intelligence has already taken over. It's already gone too far. We cannot reverse this trend. The world has changed. And why, again, do we decide to do this? Now, I'm trying to make this as clear as possible for everyone, the way I see it. So this image is a man in a shopping centre in China who simply needs to go to the toilet. In order to do so, and receive 20 centimetres of toilet paper, he has to give his use facial recognition and give away his location. Sounds crazy because that's in China, but yet in Northern Ireland, people are using the similar basic biological functions that humans require, that being we want to socialise. We want to talk to other people. That being that we need to communicate. You communicate every day, and how many people are posting at this very second, explaining what's going on today, telling their lives, wanting to be understood. This is just a basic biological requirement that we have, and it's being utilised for various techniques. So we are all doped up to the eyeballs on digital drugs. We're not even aware of it. This is like heroin in the chemical fashion, but actually it's digital. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, these levels are all being influenced by every post, every reaction, up and down days, all the rest that's happening to you every day. This is having a massive impact on your level of resilience. Your mental toughness is being affected all the time. Do you really feel in control of your own life? Do you really feel you could leave your phone at home for more than 24 hours? Most people struggle for 20 minutes. Do you feel that whenever, how confident are you if people attack you over social media, people are negative, people are not positive on who you really are? How hard does that really hit? And yet it's hitting every second potentially because you never know when to leave this device down. How open to challenge are you when everything has to be on trend? Hashtag whatever the flip that is. The truth is that we're just so following the trend, it's unreal. And lastly, how committed are you? Well, let's picture this. Goldfish is there for a reason. Say a goldfish is supposed to have a short-term memory span of 7 seconds. We probably have hit 6 because of how doped to the eyeballs we really are. That's crazy. So it's going to get even worse. So what's coming next? This is actually the latest company from Elon Musk, a company called Neuralink. Now, for the advent of 5G, probably up to 100 gigabytes per second of information, Elon Musk has designed a device already in testing on animals that will actually connect our brain to the internet, hence why Alexa's here tonight. So Alexa, oh, she's not going to hear me, are you? Alexa, what is 5,473 times 2,742?
5,473 times 2,742 is 15,006,966.
So imagine being the only person in the audience in your workplace not knowing that answer. Imagine having your child go to school being the dumbest child in the classroom who doesn't know that answer. Are you going to try and avoid this, or are you going to participate? Do you really believe you're strong enough, mentally strong enough to accept that you are not capable of understanding that information? I would argue not. Essentially, for Star Trek fans, we are becoming bored. We are being integrated with the hyper-intelligence and becoming part of that. So the workplace, life itself, will change irreparably for humans. What is likely to happen, we already see it coming, is that in an example, you use chatbots, you talk to a chatbot nowadays, you're not getting through to somebody even in the call center. Go further, we look at when automated driving takes off and logistics start to transform, we will see driving jobs disappear. The time spent driving is going to reduce. Going further, in countries that have a need, countries such as India and China, where they do not have enough professionals in dentistry and medicine. There are dental robots and medical robots that are evolving that again can perform better than human beings. The change is coming for every single job, no matter how high or how low you really are in that mix. In 2017, it was said to be 3 million jobs had been replaced by artificial intelligence. 2018 saw the first software programmer, being sacked by the computer. By 2040, we expect 40% unemployment or underemployment. This is only 20 years away. The world again has changed. Now, what will you do with your time? Concepts have been discussed, such as universal incomes, essentially a universal dole for us all, to basically live a happy life being creative and enjoying what we do. Does that mean you're going to drop your phone and give it up? Are you going to stop posting tonight? Are you going to stop using this when you get home? I'd argue not. It's highly unlikely, at least, that every single person will stop using their devices. Does that mean that Terminator 2 is coming? Skynet's going to take over and wipe us all out? Again, I'd argue not. I would consider it similar to if we become essentially not real. We're not. Think of this as the 7 billionth of the level of intelligence of this device and below. We're not really cattle. We're not even plants. We're kind of more similar to bacteria to this level of intelligence. That's where we sit in the food chain. So they're not too worried about us. Now the problem is, do we continue to wreck the environment and damage the environment itself? In which case, who knows, we might be just too aggressive, a bit of a problem. But like troublesome E. coli and I suppose the coronavirus today, we want to wipe it out. Who knows, maybe they do want to wipe this out if we get too aggressive and destroy this planet. But that's not what I'm expecting. So in closing, I have a question for everybody, and I hope that this has at least hit a raw nerve in some way, that you are aware of how often you use digital devices, what it's really doing to you. Because I would ask, are you going to be happy in a world where you're essentially colouring in on universal credit? Are you going to take up your pitchfork and rage against the machine? Thank you.